Sonny, Joey, 500. Got some goats in the building.
Get ready for a shakedown.
Prepare for a shakedown. We from Philly where they clap like huddles when they break down. Get ready for a shakedown. We underdogs, my guy. Kinda used to all the hate now. Prepare for it, man. Y'all get it. My QB got swag. My wideout is award winning. His fly was fly. Joey and 500. Like and subscribe. Yeah. Here's a quote you can sing back. Shake squad up and don't be a dingbat. It's a shakedown.
Don't you frown.
It's
Here
a
comes the shakedown.
Let's go.
Yo, by the way, kick dig back here. So sorry we are late, but welcome to another Philly Shakedown podcast. Joey Shakes, how you doing, my man?
I'm good, bro. I'm chilling. We're on our last week of preseason. This is it. This is the final week, and then we get into the regular season. Yeah,
we chill. We're sorry we're late. We had family stuff. We had we had some family stuff we had to take care of. Couldn't be avoided. We had some work to do. We had some work. We had a little bit of heavy work to do. It's done. It's done. What is going on, everybody? How you guys doing? I see Donnie's here. What's going on? Little G Griffith. What's going on, man? Are you an uncle yet? Crowley, Henry, Mike, Leon, my man. What's going on? The Philly 500 House of Mouse Club. Very
it's your
cool.
boy. It's your boy.
Jameson, that's my boy. I like it. I mean, I can never say this. Is Shield? I always say your name wrong. I apologize. He said, let's get it popping. What's going on? J-Dog, oink, oink, mother humper. What's happening? Neil, MB, Crowley, everybody that I missed, I apologize. But we are here, and the Eagles, man, they are in the stretch. They are in the home stretch of training camp and preseason right now. We have one more game to go. And, man, they're practicing really hard this week. Almost a 2-hour practice today, 90-minute practice yesterday. They're getting ready for Green Bay, who, by the way, I'm watching that game. Green Bay's on right now. But, man, what are your thoughts, man, of where we're at right now?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like offensively, I feel good. I feel like the direction we're going in, with it really, the only question is wide receiver 3 right now, which we'll get into later. But defensively is really where I'm kind of looking at, just because I feel at this point, between, there's a lot of new faces in this defense. Is Vic Fangio putting these guys in the right position to, keep, make these guys successful? Are the practices hard enough? Are we making a mistake with the offseason program with really favoring these joint practices and not putting a lot of these starters in to these preseason games? Because I see all around the league, a lot of guys are playing, a lot of quarterbacks are playing, even Jordan Love's playing in preseason, Patrick Mahomes is playing in preseason. I always wonder if we're taking, if this approach to the offseason program is, we're missing out on the more game aspect element to the realism of game environments and play when it comes to this team. But I feel like the defense is ascending. I feel like we are getting better by the day, and names are starting to pile up. And, can't wait to get into some of the positions today of, what we think is really increasing now, or what problems we still have. So,
well, it's funny because of all the hype about joint practices, they only held one. They only held one. But all the talk that Nick does about joint practices, and people have said in the media, that joint practice versus New England was the single most important day at training camp. I totally disagree. I think the stretch right now we're on, where they practice, they're practicing like 5 times in 7 days, where these are long drawn out practices. I think that's the most important part of training camp, because now we're seeing the cream rise to the top. Nakobe Dean, I want to bring him up because I don't know what the hell happened. He did nothing early on in training camp, and all of a sudden, since that Baltimore game, he is getting better every day. Every day he's standing out, and all of a sudden, I think we got ourselves a couple of linebackers, man. I'm really actually getting kind of excited about the linebackers.
Yeah, you might have some new faces. I mean, Nakobe Dean, yeah, it's been a crazy stretch since like last year to this year, and just the availability was really the first thing we wanted him just to be here, and be available. But I think even from the second game, like from a from a linebacker that plays downhill, I think he's great. And really, it comes down to instinct when you get to the right spot and make the tackle.
Keep talking.
Really,
Keep talking.
Keep talking. No, you're good. You're good. I think he's been great. I mean, I think there was a couple plays from even the Patriots game I actually really like too, like him getting pressure on the quarterback and then kind of reverting back to making the tackle on the sideline. So the ethic, the work ethic is there. From a coverage standpoint, I don't think that's his strong suit as of right now. But even from Trotter Jr., I mean, even he had some of those whiff tackles. He's in the right spot, the right time. He's being disruptive. But, the only problem is it's really that instinct of bringing the guy down. So instead of a negative 3-yard loss, it turned to a -1. But it's always going to help somebody else on your defense to make a play, and kind of ruining the timing of the offense when you can disrupt a play like that. So I'm liking it. I like the more reps they are getting. They're getting Nakobe Dean. I'm very shocked over, because I didn't think it would
very
be
happy. I was so
crazy.
close so many times to having a complete meltdown and a complete tirade on Nakobe Dean. And I kept saying, I'm going to wait till week 1 and see where he's at. We haven't even played a preseason game. I could not be happier what we're hearing from Nakobe Dean. I just can't. I'm so happy that he's making a move. And like today at practice, he had he was all over the field. All over the field. Not only him, but you had Trotter too. Trotter had a sack. Trotter had a bunch of pass deflections. Yesterday at practice, he has an interception. I mean, these guys are having these guys are coming along. I don't know what to expect from Zach Baun. I don't. Maybe he's going to be good too, but linebacker, all of a sudden, I've gone from completely worried about it to optimistic. I'm actually optimistic with what we have. Now, they got to do it in the regular season and things like that. But, man, there are signs of life. You know what I mean? Nakobe Dean has awoken. And somebody wrote in there about confidence. Confidence is an important factor. I truly believe that.
Well, Phil, you have a defensive coordinator, a legit defensive coordinator that knows how to use these guys. He finds out their strengths, their weaknesses, and you have a legit guy that knows what he's doing. So that's probably the big part of it too. You have a coach that's been around a long time. So
yeah, I mean, how many times do you see a player and a very talented player? I'm going to say, like, here's an example, and it's a quarterback, but Marcus Mariota to me is the perfect example. I truly believe if Marcus Mariota goes to Kansas City under Andy Reid or to an offensive-minded coach, he's an all-pro right now. He's an all-pro. He should be a lot better than he is, but he's got no confidence. He wasn't developed right, and that was it. Nakobe Dean is coming along, man, and I think confidence is a big factor. I do. I think that's the problem with Aniyah Smith right now. He's got no confidence. And I just couldn't be happier right now with the whole Nakobe Dean situation. It is just really good situation. And I'm trying to give him his props and his dues because I never was against Nakobe Dean. I always wanted him to do good, So I'm very happy about that. Splenda says Becton's injury is not serious. Yeah, well, Becton got left practice early. If you say it's not serious, that's good. I don't think it is. He walked off on his own. But
McLean reported today. He reported
that it was not
today.
Serious.
Yeah.
That's good. That's. I mean, he's having a hell of a camp. I think your offensive line with the addition of him on an already good offensive line, it could be tremendous. John Wick, thank you for the super chat, man. First of the day, thank you. Kenny Stickett is trash. Why quarterback number 2? Well, that's a whole other situation, you know, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a little bit. I want to stick to the defense first, and then we'll get to the offense because I got a lot to say about Kenny Pickett. I don't need to hold back to week 1 for the level of destruction I'm about to give Mr. White Glove Shitty Pants because he stinks. Mayday 69, thank you for the super chat. He goes, "What up, fellas? Dean is looking good, but I'm still concerned about him in coverage." Well, you know what? He broke up a great pass play to Devontae Smith that was actually going to Devontae. I think it's coming along, and I think he's getting confidence. You know, we'll see how it goes.
Like the short yardage throws, to the flat, like the short throws that he just has to play downhill, he's fine. It's really being in that coverage that's over top. I mean, that's really where where I'm questioned, where I feel like if Fangio can't use, I wouldn't use him that way. If he keeps getting beat like that, but he plays good downhill, then play him that way. You know, so
I think he's coming along. I think confidence is an important factor right now, you know. And I think Trotter too. Trotter is playing tremendous football.
Yeah.
You know, when we talk about Trotter not having a good game, yeah, he made some mistakes, but at least he put himself in a position where the plays were there to be made. He just got to finish. So I thought that was good. Pinky up, always when you drink. Thank you for the super chat. He goes, they think they should look into quarterback 2 position upgrade. I do, yes, but I don't think that they will. Okay. I don't.
Well, how much of an upgrade? How much of an upgrade are you going to get? I mean, you know, how much from what you're seeing? How much of an upgrade you can get? Well, you know, I mean, we don't
quarterback number 2.
We don't know yet because even today McKee was 2 yesterday, but Pickett was 2 the last couple of days, whatever.
Well, here's the thing. Since we're going to come back, the media is now starting to, like, they smell blood. All right, they are going ape shit about Pickett at practice because he's been so bad. Nobody can understand why he's still number 2. And then McKee, he gets reps today as a number 2 quarterback, and he blows it, and he stunk. He threw a pick 6. He kept getting deflected. So he didn't play good as a number 2 quarterback either today, but that was just one practice. But, I mean, Pickett can't hit anybody. Every day is Pickett misses a guy down the left sideline. Pickett misses the guy down the left sideline. Misses a guy down the left sideline in practice. I think he stinks, dude. You know? House Cat, my man, what's going on? He goes, "Hey, yo, so up, my man Joey Shakes."
Sure, House Cat.
Yeah, man. Shout out to the House Cat. Oh, shit. Sean Davis, you are too generous, awesome, man. Holy crap. Sean Davis. Shout out to Sean Davis. Sean Davis was the man today in my early stream today. Sean Davis, man, shout out to you, man. Thank you so much for the generous donation. He goes, "So if we start slow and lose a few, is it Nick's fault or not playing in preseason?" Well, I mean, not playing in preseason isn't that Nick's fault? Because
Nick's plan.
It's his decision. So I think you could blame that on Nick, I guess, you know. I don't know. You know, who knows? It really depends how it goes. I mean, if they come out and look horrible and just look like out of sync, then I think you could blame the coach for that, you know. I think Nick is on a hot seat early. If they start out with a good record, I think he'll be fine. But if they were to start 2-4, I really wonder what'll happen, you know.
Yeah, one joint practice. One joint practice is, I don't know. It's not enough.
Yeah, they had one joint. I mean, they're practicing hard and they're practicing long. Last year they were like 40-minute practices, barely did anything. These guys are hitting. They're out there working. I mean, it was almost a 2-hour practice today, 90 minutes yesterday.
Here's the thing, though. Like, when it comes, like, we've seen the roster change where specific players are now becoming the bigger options at starting positions because we're facing opponents. Some players were on the downside when we were facing each other before joint practice, and now those players are now over the other players because they're facing opponents. So it changes because you're getting different looks, and it's obviously different jersey, different players, different uniform. It's a whole different ball game when you face another opponent. So I feel like, you know, we could probably, here's an example. Like, I feel like Keely Ringo was leading the pack when we had no pads on. And then a couple days into full pads, Isaiah Rodgers started to show, started to get those starting spots a little bit once we got the pads on. And then we started facing opponents. Keely Ringo started to show up a lot more. So it goes back and forth. In my opinion, I feel like it goes. It's a huge difference. That facing your own players, know everybody's weaknesses on field. You know the players and how they are, who you're facing every week when it comes to their own roster.
Yeah, no.
So
I mean, it's true. They don't tackle to the ground either.
No.
So usually, and that's not just the Eagles. That's most of the teams. So you get to the regular season now, and it's like week 1 is the first time they're really preseason they're really practicing where they're hitting to the ground. So that's why it's so sloppy. The NFL the first month of the season. And Sean Davis, man, thanks again for that super chat. I know you emailed me. I didn't get a chance to check it out. I've been pretty much I haven't been home all day since that stream ended, and then I just got home a little while ago. But I will check it tonight, man, and I will respond. And thank you again for the generous donation, man. We appreciate it. Jersey Dolphins, what's going on, my man? Let's see. I think McKee is fine too. He didn't have a good practice. The whole offense didn't have a good practice. But with Kenny Pickett, the fact that the Eagles put McKee in with the second team in red zone practice, I think they're starting to take a look at Pickett. Because here's the thing, let's say like Dan Sileo says that Pickett's in there because they're trying to build up his trade value. At some point, what he's putting on tape does not look good. I mean, if you're Minnesota and you say, well, let's go watch Pickett's first 2 games because we might want to trade, it's going to look awful. Why would you trade for him? I think
the great one, Matt Corral, the great one.
Hey, Matt
signed
Corral.
with the Vikings.
Yep. My man, Matt Corral. But listen, Matt Corral may be a stinky quarterback, but his jerseys from college are the greatest gift ever given to the Philadelphia Eagles draft. Look at what he's produced.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, we sat how long was I pulling my hair out with Trotter on the board for how many rounds?
Yeah.
And I don't believe if we didn't have those Matt Corral jerseys, there's no way that we'd pick them.
Yeah.
Michael, what's going on, Michael? He says, Nick just needs to let Moore run the show on offense. Only throw in the brotherly shove on occasion, but use Barkley on 3rd and short. Yeah, I agree. I think Barkley's the key early on, too. Why not come out and just heavy dose of Barkley versus Green Bay? Let your offense get in a sync. Let everybody just kind of get in a rhythm and come out running the ball. And then open it up in the second quarter, third quarter, then start throwing. I think Barkley has 165 yards, 2 touchdowns.
No, I agree.
Brandon, thank you for the super chat, my man. He goes, Devin White could build confidence in our linebackers. I think Devin White is helping too, because I don't know, I know what they say about Devin White and stuff, but man, to me, from what I see in like the press conferences, things he says, things that people on the team say about him, man, he's in a good place. And he's coming in and he's acting like a leader, and he's taking guys like Nakobe Dean and Trotter under his wing. I think he has been huge for us, man. Absolutely huge.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like he's been like one of those guys that's, like you said, is going to help the young guys out, but brings a veteran type presence. Has been a Pro Bowler, has won a Super Bowl before, has a lot of experience. So as a lock as the one of the linebacker spots, I feel good reviving his career in Philadelphia and hopefully gets an extension. So we're hoping. So.
Fitness Roofer says, "What's good, Philly 500? Joe, just got off my post office and now DoorDash, and my man's hard at work.
Keep making that money,
Shout out
dude.
to you, man. I hope you're getting tipped well. I do.
Yeah.
Chucky, thank you for super chat. He goes, the Tomahawk number 54 staked his place as a starter. I don't know. I mean, it looks like they're going to go with Bond. I I don't know. Philly Joel Embiid. Yes, there it is. And thank you, Chucky, for that super chat. I don't know that Trotter's the starter yet, but he's on his way. You know what I mean? Sean Davis, thank you for the super chat. He goes, no, I sent something to your post. Oh, to my P.O. box. Oh, okay. Oh, so you didn't send me an email, you sent it to the P.O. box. Okay. I'll have to go I'll try to get up to the P.O. box to my post office tomorrow and see. I mean, well, when did you send it? I wonder if it's there. Let me know. But I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Cilio is a moron. How he traded for a third for Pickett. He's not going to get that in return. He's definitely not getting a third for him. And Sean Davis, man, thanks again for the super chat, man. We appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Let me highlight that star. Yeah, the Pickett thing just is like, how he took a chance. He thought he was going to sit there and get a guy and maybe get some trade value, but Pickett hasn't been good. He has not been good. And listen, I'm streaming these practices live. Okay, dude, the media is every time he misses a throw,
they're all over it.
They're all over it. They sniffed it out because clearly it doesn't. From everything we heard about not just what we've seen, but all through training camp, they have said Pickett has not looked good. He does not look good. This is not. This is getting crazy now. I think McKee could play. Like if you needed him for a game or two, I think he's capable of winning a game.
Yeah,
I do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean the offense will have to change with McKee just because he doesn't have that that speed aspect in his legs. Like he doesn't have any athletic ability at all, so it has to change a little bit. But I would feel way comfortable with him. I mean, I had a fight with a guy the other day. It was like, oh yeah, Pickett was like 11 for 13. And I'm like, dude, like how many of those were like dump off passes? Like, sure, you know what I mean? Like,
was it like
it was 60 something? It was 60 something yards, like 11 13, 60 something yards. But
I know, I saw it too. I had them. They were like 11 or 13. 11 or 13. He doesn't throw over 2 yards.
I mean,
there was one play. It was like a 20-yard pass play where literally threw it a yard, and Will Shipley ran for 19 more. So that's 20 of that 60 yards right there.
So with 3 more passes, what was McKee? 14 for 18, 140. I think that's what it was. I don't know.
Like that.
But come on now,
Pickett should have had a touchdown pass early in that game. He had Ross streaking down
overthrew
the left
him,
sideline, and he overthrew him. No, he stinks. And listen, I'm not trying to kill. Like, I don't hate Pickett. I don't have a problem with having Pickett on the roster. I just don't think you should just hold McKee back. That's my whole point.
I agree.
The Umbrella Man, thank you for the super chat. He goes, hey, how you doing? What's going on, my man? How are you? Yeah, it's crazy. The Pickett thing is crazy.
15 for 1900. All right, so 15 for 1940. Okay.
50, is that what he was?
Yeah, I was fighting with a guy over Kenny Pickett yesterday. I couldn't believe it. I was like, is someone really defending Kenny Pickett right now?
Oh yeah, dude, they love him. Remember there were certain people that were like, he's going to replace Jaylen Hurts, but that's not going to happen. Eagle says 500. Nick said Kenny is quarterback number 2, which I don't like because if something happens to Jaylen, I can't trust Kenny to lead this team. He stinks. He's inaccurate, and let McKee be quarterback number 2. I agree. I'm with you. I'm with you. I have to believe. All right. I have to believe, and this is the one thing I don't like that the Eagles do, but sometimes I think the front office gets in the way of certain guys and them in the depth chart. You can't tell me if you're judging Kenny Pickett just based upon performance that he's outperformed McKee. I can't see it. I think some of these things come from the upper management.
Well, hopefully they're not playing favoritism. Well, we gave up a lot we switched, they switched 3rd, 4th round picks. Was I really happy about it? I honestly really didn't care. A lot of fans were pissed off over it, but we got the 3rd round. I knew we were going to get that pick back. I think we all knew we were going to get that pick back somehow. How he doesn't give up things and then just doesn't get it back. He always finds ways to maneuver when it comes to trading back, trading up, whatever. So we ended up getting it back. I have no issue with that, but it's got to be somewhat of a smoke screen. I don't know because
I listen. I have no problem doing it. Like here's a first round quarterback they want to get rid of. Yeah, bring him in. Like there's nothing wrong, in my opinion, with what Howie did.
Yeah.
Okay, it just might not be working out because Pickett don't look like he can play, and maybe it's a confidence thing with him. You know, maybe that's what it is. But he's struggling mightily right now. Tanner says, rumor is that Jahan Dotson might not be on the Commanders roster. So some people think Philly should get him. Yeah, I was going to bring this up to you because there was a report, I forget who it was, insider said that they think there's a good chance that he may not be on Washington's team, his roster. I don't think, he talked about being cut. I don't see how they would cut him. But I mean, Dotson, to me, if he became available, I would jump on that in a second.
Yeah,
hypothetically,
the issue. I mean, really, the only issue is with that is would they trade him within the division? I mean, what I found out about that whole thing was that he actually, Jahan Dotson had an interview and said that, well, Dan Quinn didn't draft me. You know what I mean? So usually when head coaches will come into a roster that has some good players, sometimes these head coaches just don't like those players, and they
I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say, like it always baffled me, and it actually infuriated me back in the day. When I really started to hate Chip Kelly was when he traded he traded all the guys, but trading Foles away to me was like crazy because I thought Foles was like developing into a good quarterback. He just needed somebody to believe in him, and he traded him away for Bradford. And it was just like, no matter what Foles did, he was going to get rid of him. He didn't like him. No matter what McCoy did, he was going to get rid of him. There's certain guys they just don't fit certain things with coaches. And to me, if Dotson became available, I would jump on that in a second. I'll tell you what, I watched the Houston Texans game. Mechie looks good. Like, I would call them up.
Yeah, I mean, dude, at this point, like you go into the second preseason game, Johnny Wilson's out with a concussion. Patrick Campbell, he was limited, so he just got limited the day before, so he wasn't playing. Why is Britton Covey getting 13% of the snaps? Why is there, if there's such a big open competition here, like why isn't Covey playing longer? Like he barely even played in the game. So it's not like he wasn't dressed and like we could say, okay, if he's not dressed, then he's a starter, going forward. But like I don't care about Joseph Nagata. Like these other guys aren't gonna, they're not gonna make that position. It's not gonna happen. They're not gonna make it. Like one game's not gonna do it for me. But there's nothing rolling with this. So now I'm starting to think, is there something going on behind the scenes on a trade for a receiver signing? I mean, there's got to be something going on because there's not enough going into these preseason, not enough happening in these preseason games, unless I don't know. But
Elaine says, I'm not sure what I missed, but we got hit with a bad storm here. It's still going on, but I thought I'd just check and see what I missed. We're just talking about the emergence of Nakobe Dean, how Pickett has been looking awful. Now we're kind of talking about the wide receiver situation. But thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Whit King says Pickett only averages like 4 yards a pass. I know he's trash, dude. Jeff Fox, thank you for super chat, my man. He goes, okay, our defense is average right now. Offense struggled against them concerned. No. Here's the thing. The offense has been so good every day at practice. Like you're going to have an off day or a bad day. And not only that, I think the defense, they've got some young guys, and I think they're coming along. And maybe we need to look at it from the standpoint of not that the Eagles offense struggled, but that the Eagles defense maybe is developing. And thank you for that super chat, man.
You gotta look at it a different way too. Like, yeah, like you don't want like one side to be so superior in camp, like, because then you're gonna start to say, okay, well, there's a problem here. And you gotta think, even when they're doing the analysis of players, of who's going to make this team, just say the defense, especially. Like, just remember, you don't have your starting defensive line out there. You don't have Graham, you don't have Sweat, you don't have Jordan Davis, you don't have Jalen Carter. So you take them out, your defense is gonna take a big hit when it comes to the secondary. So it's gonna make these guys work a little harder for getting these coverages and and making these plays. So I like it's been more offense. Like, Jaylen Hurts still hasn't thrown a pick yet. I know McKee threw one to Ben Van Simmeren today. But I think it's going well. Like, offensively, right. I think they're good. Like, I think really it just comes down to, like, they need to get a guy that could put a lot of pressure on at wide receiver 3, a guy they could at least be available for those big moments in games and not, because that's, you're gonna have a lot of attention on the outside. You're gonna have a lot of attention in the backfield. You're gonna have a lot of attention with Jaylen Hurts and his, extending plays and his run ability. So the opportunities are there. They really have to get that position down. They really do.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting to me though, speaking upon like the defense playing well, because I forget who it was in the media who made an argument that Jaylen Hurts is having a good camp because the Eagles' defense is so bad. So if they have a good practice today, the defense, then maybe they're not as bad. You know what I mean? It's absolutely ridiculous. It's like I always feel like no matter what, we're damned if we do, we're damned if we don't. Chris Scott says McKee deserves the backup position. Listen, I agree. If and I saw Mavs in here telling me that I'm crazy that that McKee stinks, that we need Foles out retirement. But if you stick with what you have on the roster, McKee should be the backup. And I don't think McKee stinks. I think McKee has I think he's a young guy that needs to develop, but I don't think he's bad at all. I'm not saying he's going to be a starter in the league and go win 2 Super Bowls, but I'm saying as a backup, I think
he's got value. He's got a lot of value, though. I mean, he's done good the last 2 off seasons.
Dude, he's got a big arm. I don't know, man. I think you gotta just be a little patient with the kid. Michael says, I think Keegan is ready to play now if he's has to step in for someone. I agree. I
think literally this offensive line, how it's going to turn out, even now to a couple years, if they keep Becton, if he's really good, like a couple years, Lane Johnson retires, he moves to right tackle. And I honestly think this right guard competition in the future is going to be between Tyler Steen and Trevor Keegan. I think that's going to be what it's going to be for the future, because Keegan hasn't given up a sack. He played every snap in that second preseason game. He didn't give up a sack. If you didn't check out Brian Balder's video on him today, he put up a video on Twitter today and went over some of his blocking assignments and how tough he was. And he looks, Trevor Keegan for a 5th round pick, man, he looks really good.
Yeah,
really good.
He does look good. Danielson says McKee 15 and 19, 140. Yeah, it wasn't bad, and he put us in a position to win that game, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting. 125 says, I don't understand why Slay is considered a starter when last season he was 30th in targets, 30th in receptions allowed, and maybe they believe in him, but make him win the job during the preseason. Yeah, well, they definitely didn't try to make him win the job. They're giving it to him. I just assume that it's like I assume that they look at the last year as just a wash. Like everybody stunk.
I think
I think that was their approach, right or wrong.
Everybody's got to realize last year was a complete, like, you honestly think there was a game plan for this defense last year and changing coordinators middle of the year. And I mean, there was no coaching aspect. Like, how can I take this roster defensively last year, analyze it from the great coaching we had apparently, and really, I mean, like, I know Slay's good. Like, Slay staying, I figured it was, I feel like it was a fine move. Like, I had no interest. I didn't have a problem with Slay staying for this year. I mean, really, it was Bradbury that, because I felt like they really had to upgrade the corner spot, and, and they did. They put a lot of compensation into their secondary, which we can't really complain about at all.
No,
so
I don't.
They never do that, ever.
Yeah. How is CJ Uzomah doing in training? I think he's stinking it up. I think he's stinking up. Yeah. I don't think he's looked good. EJ Jenkins looked
Yeah.
good. Like, and when I say good, because you always have the preferences. If I say somebody's looking good or they look great, or it doesn't mean I'm saying that they're the next Gronk. It's in context of trying to be the third tight end. That's what I'm saying.
And because tight end's a crap storm right now. I mean, it is. I mean, Calcaterra, I don't know if he's back yet, but he's already been hurt.
No.
I mean, TJ Usama's horrible.
Yeah, I like Calcaterra, but he gets hurt a lot.
Just little injuries. Dallas Goedert needs to have Dallas Goedert stays healthy. He can have over 600 yards, 630. I mean, he could get in between those numbers probably.
Jay Koch, man, what's up, dude? I ain't seen you in a while. Says Pickett's a little bitch. He will never stand tall in the pocket like Nick Foles did. I agree with you there. I agree. And we got over 750 people in the chat. Woo. Thank you guys so much for being here. Hit that like, make sure you subscribe. If you're on my channel, click the link, go sub up my man Joey Shakes. And also we do have a whole new line of merchandise that is out. I have to get all the stuff ready to go. I don't have it here, but I will get it prepared. We haven't even really talked about that. But definitely check the link in the description. The Swole Batman has been a very popular one.
I don't doubt it.
Sure. Yeah,
don't doubt it.
Any word on Mekhi Becton? Nothing big. Nothing.
No, he's not serious.
His injury wasn't serious. Yeah,
he's fine.
Yeah. Trey Diesel, man, thank you for the super chat. He goes, we got Pickett and a fourth for a third. That was only 22 picks. Okay, this is good. I'm glad that you're bringing this up because there's so much. It's so confusing to know what we got. So we didn't really get a third round pick for him. Okay, thank you, Trey Diesel, man. So we got a fourth round pick.
We swapped, yeah.
And we swapped 22 picks. So you didn't get a third round pick. You got 22. So look, if you could trade him for a fifth round pick, yeah, I mean, that's something. But I'm glad that you brought that up because I thought it was a third round pick. And now we know that's not the case. So it's not nearly as bad as it sounds. House Nelson, what is up, my man? Ronnie Taylor says, McKee got second quarterback reps and stunk. I know. I was been waiting for him to get reps, and then he stinks it up.
Yeah.
It Warrior Grade. That's just one day, though. That's one day at camp. I still got to give him second team reps because Pickett stinks it up every day. Now, McKee would be number 2 if Pickett wasn't getting preferred treatment. Agreed. Brandon, thank you for super chat. It was Kenny was trade value. You got to keep at 2 for trade value, right? I mean, I think that's what they're trying to do. But at what point? Here's my question to you: at what point is the play and what he's putting on tape so bad that it's not helping the value?
The excuse last year was that the excuse last year that McKee didn't get the backup job. I don't understand they signed Mariota for $5 million, but McKee wasn't really. The excuse was he wasn't facing the better talent starting in first halves of games. So why wouldn't they ever put McKee in the first half by himself and have Pickett and Greer split reps in the second half? Like, I feel like it's very unfair. Why? Because honestly, I think a lot of receivers, even on the last game, the 140 yards that he had, there was still a couple drops. There were still drops going on in that game. So I think his stats would look even better than what they were. Another 20, maybe 30 yards on top of it. Right. So who knows?
Yeah. Fly Parks, my man. Thank you for super chat. Goes, fellas, what's up with Grant Calcaterra? Did he practice today? Who is our second tight end? Well, Calcaterra, and thank you for the super chat. Calcaterra is our second tight end.
Technically, yeah.
I gotta check and see. Let me see if I have the injury report here. I don't know. No, that was their schedule. I don't have the injury report here. I think Calcaterra. I think he was limited, right?
Yeah,
I want to say limited, but I think he's limited. Matt says, "Go get Mariota back." Hey, listen, I don't dislike Mariota, but Mariota was stinking.
He threw that first pass and he threw that screen pass. Remember that?
Yeah.
Oh my
KJ
God.
Smith, thank you for super chat. Goes least favorite play in Eagles history. The least favorite play. Oh man, I know. There's probably something that I'm just totally missing.
I don't even know.
I mean, I don't like the penalty on Bradbury in the Super Bowl. I mean, that sucked.
Oh
But,
yeah.
I'll tell you what I think it is. I'll give you one. Back in the Super Bowl, McNabb. Okay, the Eagles were up. I believe we were up 7-0 early in that game. McNabb has Brian Westbrook wide open in the end zone and underthrew him for an interception. That changed the whole momentum. If he hits Brian Westbrook, it's like 14-0. We're winning that game, and I believe that changed the whole momentum of that Super Bowl. I'll say that. But I mean, I would say something about in the Fog Bowl, but I couldn't see anything. Yeah. Joseph Dees, I think this is you.
Oh, Joseph Dees, thank you for coming to Shake Squad Army. Thank you for joining up, dude. Appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Thank you, boy. I'm trying to catch up to chat here. Fat Folder, thank you for super chat. Goes, this Bo Nix kid's looking good, impressive for Denver. Yeah, I'm keeping my eye on it. He does look good. Dre Diesel, thank you for super chat, man. He goes, man, I hope we don't catch the injury bug in Grams last year. These injuries on O-line are freaking me out. They're annoying, but at least they're nothing. Oh God, I don't want to say it, but at least it's it doesn't seem anything serious yet.
The good thing is Becton's already locked the spot up, so don't go crazy with him. They gotta rest him for a little bit. Let him get look. Lane Johnson, he just rested today. This is like his first rest day in forever, and he's the oldest guy there.
Here's the thing. They are practicing this year. Like if you remember last year was like 45-minute practices. A lot of times they were glorified walkthroughs. Like these guys are out there practicing now, man. So you're going to have a little bit of injuries going on and stuff like that. But I think we'll be okay. Antonio says McNabb underthrows this Sean Jackson versus. Oh, that's right. Versus Arizona, wide open field to go to the Super Bowl. And oh my gosh, I'll never. Yes, you're right. Yes, yeah. Those are the plays that just like Yeah. Nicholas says, "Hey, Philly 500, you and Joey are going to be doing the final 53-man roll." Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be doing one if we want to do a joint one, like and just give our opinions. Then we could do something like that.
Yeah, we could do that.
I'll tell you what. I think pretty much all the battles are over. I don't know, except for maybe the wide receiver 3. Clearly, your right guard spot is done. Okay. I think Zach Bond, regardless of how much we liked what Nakobe Dean has done and even Trot, Bond starts every day.
He's playing less in preseason games. He's playing less in preseason games too.
Yeah, and he's playing right. And Isaiah Rodgers has started 15 straight days as the number 1 corner outside of across from Slay. So I feel like that's a setup. And then you got Q. He's starting in the slot every day now. So I think most of these battles are locked up. The only one I think is a wide receiver number 3.
You think Rodgers has won the job over Keely Ringo?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Based upon that every day when they do the 11-on-11s, he starts out with first team. And we're going on. It's 14 straight days of it. He's done it for 14 straight days. So, I mean, that's like, they started off at camp and it was like they were going back and forth. Now it's 14 straight days where he's starting. So I think he's starting. I mean, I don't know for sure, but
Yeah, I feel good about Keely Ringo. I mean, I feel really
I
good
love Keely. I thought Ringo looked great the other night. I thought he looked great. I like Ringo a lot. I mean, listen, I know they won't do it, but there are people who believe that the Eagles should trade Slay so you can get Ringo on the field. I don't think they'll do it. So I don't really talk about it much. But
I get it.
I'm just saying it in terms of the reason I bring it up is in terms of that Ringo's a player. He's going to be a big part of this team.
Mm-hmm.
There's no doubt. But it looks like from the way that they're lining up every day, it looks like Rodgers is ahead. Brandon, thank you for the super chat. He goes, trade Kenny and a pick for someone maybe. Yeah, I mean, I'm all for it. He's starting. I'm not sure who does. We ain't trading Slay. I don't think we're trading Slay either.
No.
There are reports, though, that the Eagles and Pittsburgh could have some interest. I'm not saying it's accurate or it's going to happen or it's even real. I don't know. But there are things out there. So take it for what it is,
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Senor says, you need some corner depth. You can't just trade all your corners away.
Well,
I don't want to trade any of them away.
Yeah, who said we're trading?
I don't want to trade Slay. I don't bring that up because I want to trade him. The only reason I brought that up is to say that Ringo is played well enough that people believe he could start. That's all I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Ringo will play a lot. I think they all will. No doubt about it. You think Rodgers will be traded? See, I don't think they're going to trade Rodgers. I think they like Rodgers. I think they might even extend Rodgers. I know that's crazy, but I would not be surprised.
I don't know.
It's going to be tough. I mean, yeah, I don't
There's
know.
There's too many guys. You're at.
They've
Even
got
if
a
we're talking extensions. There's too many guys you're going to have to extend, especially if you.
Well, what if they really like Quinyon Mitchell in the slot? Like, what if he pulls like a Landon Dickerson, and he's like lights out?
Yeah, I mean that could be a possibility.
What do you do? I mean, I want him on the outside.
Yeah, as a first round pick, he should be on the outside.
Yeah. Joe says 500 shakes. What do you think the chances are Slay is dealt? See, that's what I'm saying. Dealt by the trade deadline, Rodgers, Ringo become our two starting corners. I don't think it's likely, but I don't think it's impossible either. And I don't think it'll happen. I don't think if it did happen, it would have to happen at the trade deadline. I don't think it's likely. I think they want Slay there to help mentor all those guys. I don't think Slay will be back after this year, though. I think this is last year.
Retirement or trade, probably.
Yeah,
one of the other.
I think if you're gonna trade somebody, you want to trade Bradbury. You're not going to get much for him, but I think you want to trade Bradbury, and I also think you want, to me, the two positions that you have to really, I think, acquire is I think you need another edge rusher just in case, and I think you need the wide receiver situation. I think is rightfully out there.
I don't get what Fangio and he's very realistic about things. He won't give us straight answers, but he's very he'll tell us things, and be honest about the players because for some odd reason, he thinks, Bradbury, you talked about Bradbury's IQ and how his transition so well. I don't know what we're not seeing, but what we are seeing, your IQ can be great, but if you can't make the plays, which I don't know if he can, I don't know if he's athletically sound enough to be like, hey, this guy's making a good salary as a backup safety right now. You really are. Cooper DeJean is really going to make the difference of what happens. He's only in the nickel spot right now. Really, 12 plays a day. That's all he's in. So he's getting a certain amount of reps. As the weeks go on,
he's limited. He's still limited at practice too.
So he wants to. So from what Fangio said today, he wants to see Cooper DeJean at outside. He wants him to play outside corner as well. God forbid, that's what he used to play. So I get it. You want him to know multiple positions so he can really move around. But could there be an opportunity where there is a play for Cooper DeJean to at least they throw him in at safety before the season starts? At least now, but a couple weeks later is what I'm saying.
I think it'll happen. I think they want Cooper DeJean. I've said it before. I think they want him all over the place. And the fact that Cooper DeJean, if you listen to his interview he did when he returned to practice when he were up in New England, he said that he's been taking mental reps at safety. They've had him take mental reps outside, inside, and at safety. So there is at some point they're going to put him there. Just not to start over Reed Blankenship, but they're going to put him there to get reps. I think in 2-3 years, I think Cooper DeJean will be able to play every position in the secondary. I do. Jolo says 500. And Joey, did you all see where Dallas offered CD $33 million and he asked for more? It's a problem over there. No, I didn't know that, but I did see Mark Holmes did a video like a week and a half ago saying that basically the CD Lamb contract was done. They were just crossing their T's and dotting their I's. It's like nothing's happened. But it's crazy. That's crazy, man. Best thing that will happen is Slay pulls something and a young crowd takes over. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people think Slay is old and done. I think Slay has something left. I do.
I do too.
But I'll tell you what, if he's getting destroyed, early on in the season, I'm going to be like, get Ringo in there, dude.
Yeah, if he's the only thing I question about Slay is from what happened last year, where he just was, when corners weren't being physical enough, and he got triggered by it, and went on his podcast to say like that he's not tackling that certain way, quote unquote, anymore. Right. It's alarming because it's like, dude, like you were about to go to the Ravens last year, you ended up coming back for more money, and now like you put on the helmet and you're not even gonna. You're not even give it your all. I don't care if you're 43. I don't care if you're 50 playing in the NFL as a corner. Like you have to give it everything you got. You got to give it everything you got.
Yeah, I think Slay. I think Slay's got something to prove this year, and I do think he's going to be good. I do. And I think he's going to help mentor those guys. Mm-hmm. But my only point of bringing it up was just to say that Ringo is playing well enough that it's becoming a discussion. Mm-hmm. That's all I'm saying. And did I read that? Did I just click off that? Jared said, "Go Birds at 500." Yes, man. 41-33. What's going on, my man? Thank you for super chat. He says, been saying it for a while. Go young on defense. Let them grow into something special together. Slay was loved in Philly until his comments last year about holding back. There you go. You just talked about it. Philly loves the guys who sell out. That's true. They do. I think, listen, there's an argument to be made about doing that. Look at Kansas City. We've talked about them and how they went young and let those guys play. Your offense is good enough that you could play the young guys. They could go out there and make mistakes and struggle early. And I think by the end of the year, really start to catch up. And, by next year, all of a sudden you got a lot of young guys with a lot of playing experience. So there's something to be said about it. The only thing that makes me think that they wouldn't do things like that is Fangio. Fangio seems to like those veteran guys that he can trust. A lot of these coaches don't trust young guys. They don't want to put them in certain situations. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Danielson says, likely retirement or 1-year rental after season for Slay. Yeah, I think so. Elaine says, I don't believe that we would trade Slay. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up retiring after the season. Yeah, I mean, he's pretty much said that, it's, he doesn't have much time left. So it could happen. I don't think they'll trade him either. Joe says, we need to trade picks for young blue chip players. Would be a sneaky move now. Well, yeah, it would be a sneaky. I mean, what would you get for Slay? Like what could you realistically get for a 34-year-old corner? That's the question. Can you get a 3rd-round pick? That would be my question.
That'd be good.
Jacob, thank you for super chat. He goes, Joey, stop leaving my mom text messages on read. She misses you. Thank you for super chat. Joey. Go F yourself, my man. Member for 6 months. He goes, Slay Sirianni and pick it for a 3rd. He wants a package deal. I like coach. It. Yeah, I mean, Nick, we'll see about Nick Sirianni. I'm just going to wait and see. Chris McClure, member for 9 months. Says, thanks, Phil. You're the best. Thank you, my man. Appreciate it. Try says, look, guys, no one's trading for Bradbury. Contract is terrible, and he is terrible. He's getting cut. Yeah, you might be right. I'm not. Listen, it would not surprise me that you hear the Fangio saying all this great stuff about him. They're trying to push him as a second safety, and they're hoping somebody's going to offer them anything. And if it doesn't happen, they just might cut. It very well could happen. You know.
Yeah, I mean, anything could happen.
It might. Dwight says 500. How about them Cowboys? The Dallas Cowboys have the second team playing the LA Raiders starters and got dominant by the Dallas Cowboys second team. Philly 500, you should be shaking your boots. Are you crazy? Dallas stunk. I watched that. They stunk. Oh, man. You are so delusional. You're not even going to – are you going to even beat Cleveland to start the year? Dallas has no run game at all. They literally – I thought it was so funny. Their field goal kicker kicks a 66-yard field goal, ties the NFL record, and they're celebrating it like he won the Super Bowl. But the great thing about it is it's a preseason game. It doesn't count. It doesn't even go in the record books. It's hilarious. They get nothing. You get nothing, Cowboy fans. You get nothing. You're going to get nothing but pain. Kirk David Zuberchay goes 500. Do you think this year will be a critical year for Hurts as a franchise quarterback? If he has a bad year, is quarterback, do we question it as our franchise? Question as our franchise? I don't know if it would be that route. But
people need to relax on that.
I would be like, if he had, let's say he had a really bad year, I would be like thinking that the next year is one of those years that, you know what I mean? But I think Hurts is going to have a monster year. Like, I think Hurts is going to be like MVP, top 3 candidate. He is going to have a monster year?
Why is everyone thinking? But seriously, why is everybody thinking he's on like some downward spiral after last year? Like, people are blaming it more on him than they are the coaches. Like, everyone's taking it like he's on some like we know how he can play. Like, we understand the situation, but like, why is everyone thinking he is like he's just descending down into like this is just going to get worse? Like, I don't know. I don't get it.
If you go back a year ago to week 11 after the Buffalo game, Hurts runs into the end zone in overtime, the Eagles win. You go and you look at the odds in Vegas to win the MVP. He's the odds favorite. He's literally, after 11 weeks, the favorite. So how does it go from you're the odds favorite to be an MVP after 11 weeks to, he was horrible last year? He wasn't horrible. He was injured, and that last 6-7 weeks, the whole team was horrible. And he wasn't perfect. He made mistakes. There were things that went on. I'm not saying he was perfect or doesn't deserve any criticism. But what I'm saying is it wasn't like, he fell off a cliff. It wasn't that bad. You know what I'm saying? He does deserve criticism. There are things that he should be criticized for not doing right. And you know what? He went and he worked on those things, and we'll come back better, and we'll see how it goes. But you could say that about every player. Every player has mistakes, has flaws, has to get better. I think all of them. This team had a historical collapse. There's blame to go around for everybody. But I don't think Hurts is like, I don't think this is like a make or break year for him.
No.
He was certainly injured, no question. Listen, the guy was, I'll never forget that Dallas game where he literally, we know he's playing on a bad knee, and he gets hit, remember? And he's like on the ground versus Dallas, and he's like dragging himself to the side. He can't even get up and walk. He gets up, comes back out, and all of a sudden went into some zone and just lit Dallas up. Okay, and this was on one leg, and he played on one leg a lot of weeks. So I think Hurts. I like Jaylen Hurts. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he has flaws like everybody else. I think there were things that went bad, and there were things he's got to improve on. But overall, I think that Hurts was least of our problems.
No, it hasn't crossed my mind. It hasn't. Like, I didn't make a Jaylen Hurts video until later in the offseason. Like, I'm worried about everything else. That's the last thing I'm worried about.
Yeah, no, and I think if you look at Hurts, I mean, I'm telling you, I watch Hurts. I've seen enough of Hurts training. I already know he's gonna have a big year. I'm talking 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, or 10 rushing. Like he's gonna have a monster year. He is, as long as he stays healthy, monster year. Jalen Carter, defensive rookie player of the year. Hey, he had a great day today too. He had a really, really good day. I think Jalen Carter will be absolutely fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
The question is going to be Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis has got to be better than he was a year ago. Like he's got to be like he was good early in the year. He's got to be that all year. But if those two guys are good, the whole defense will be good.
And edge rusher is the biggest question right now with, Jaylen Hunt's been playing pretty well on the perimeter and, he's had some good, some good stops on the edge, but we haven't really seen like who's been a dominant edge rusher, to be honest with you. Even Bryce Huff, he's last 4 or 5 days, I think he's done really good in coverage a little bit, but I just don't think everyone's on a coverage aspect as an end because you're going in you're always going in coverage like most of the time, and you're relying a lot on linebackers and really the interior to get pressure, and you're just going off the perimeter as an edge guy. I don't know. It's just weird. Nolan Smith is not good right now. He's
okay. So this is where I was gonna ask you, like Nolan Smith has had 2 preseason games. He's had 2 sacks.
Nah.
Vic Fangio kind of really let the air out of the balloon when talking about Smith in the first game. Even though he's had 2 sacks, you still think he hasn't looked good?
Even the last sack that he had, the first sack, he was unblocked. I can't, how much do I take from a guy that's unblocked on the backside to get a sack? I mean, he got an unblocked sack in Miami last year. He got a sack in Miami.
He's got really good closing speed.
No, here's what I think. I think he got so that last sack that he ended up getting, he went against the tackle straight up, and then there was a running back chipping. He got chipped and pushed into the lane. He got pushed right into the lane. It freed him up, and he just went. I mean, I think he just got pushed into that spot, and he just went and got the sack. The problem I have is this. I think straight up as a full pass rusher, when he straight up bull rushes, I mean, he's got no technique. He's got nothing else in his toolbox. He needs to get more moves in his toolbox. And he straight up bull rushes. He goes nowhere. What they did with him in Georgia, lining up as like a wide 9, I think the further you line him up, give him a little space to the tackle. This way he can pick his poison to go through a crease, go skinny in a crease. I feel like the best of him comes out if he finds the crease, not full bull rush. The bull rush, he doesn't do anything. Like he disappears. I mean, I think they have to line him up a little wider than they have been. And that's just me. I think that's where he'll really do well. But what he's doing now, it's not enough for me right now. It's not.
So you think you like Huff upside more than Nolan Smith at this point in time?
I mean, I kind of have to at this point. I kind of have to because he's getting paid a lot of money, and we have to put more. We got to put more focus into him, honestly. Yeah. But I honestly haven't seen these edge guys we're not seeing the practices. We didn't see joint practices. We're not seeing it. I think interior wise, they're going to get a lot of pressure. I think everybody is sleeping on Milton Williams because I've saw some videos from the joint. There was someone at the joint practice that put video of Milton Williams in some of the drills, and he is. Wow. I didn't think it was going to happen this year, but man, he's put on some crazy pressure. I think the inside's good, but when it comes to the outside, it's not if you're just going to base everything off of coverage and not get any help on the edge, or these guys are lackluster at getting to the quarterback, like Bryce Huff, like Fangio says Bryce Huff is learning a new position this year. Yeah, of course he is, because you're taking a player out of his strong element and you're putting him into something brand new. That's what we talked about when we talked about when they were keeping this defense with Vic Fangio this year. You're picking scheme over players, not what you have, and building around the players that you have. That's where I have the problem. And I'm hoping Bryce Huff is not taking out of his element, put him in coverage, and he's just out there like a deer in headlights. I hope not.
Well, we'll see. I mean, the one thing Fangio that I do like, and maybe this is something he feels like he has to do because he's not getting pressure from those edge rushers, but he does blitz a lot. He's blitzed a lot. And I think you got good linebackers that can blitz. I think Nakobe Dean can blitz. I think Devin White is a really good blitzer. And you wonder if he's going to have to manufacture pressure by blitzing because those guys aren't getting home. I mean, time will tell.
Does not having Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter in there affect it affects the edge rushers? It depending on who's getting double. Depends on who's getting doubled.
I think anytime those guys you get to push up the middle, I think it helps. It helps everybody else out. Elaine says everybody's always putting down Jaylen. If it was never Jaylen, it was everything and everyone around him. He made mistakes, yes, but I agree. Totally, 100% agree. Batman Twins, member for 5 months. Shout out to you. What up, boys? Fly Eagles fly.
Come on, dude.
Absolutely. Camel, I don't want to get censored. Hurts will never throw 4K. He will this year. 41-33. Thank you for super chat. He goes, for me, it was the Buffalo game, man. We had no business winning that game. Put the team on his back and got it done when it counted the most. I know it was an amazing performance. I think he'll be fine. But I think the edge rusher is the biggest question mark. That and the wide receiver number 3. But I think wide receiver number 3 is still the 5th option in. You know what I mean? On offense, the edge rusher's got to get home. I mean, listen, the way I see the Nolan Smith thing is he had produced 2 sacks in 2 games. Yeah, it was probably against 3rd string and 4th string guys, but if he didn't do anything, it would be worse. At least he did something. I hope that he'll be fine. Bryce Huff, I think he'll be okay. I do, but I think Jaylen Hunt is the guy to keep an eye on because there's something about this kid I really could see late in the season where they just let him play because he's going to be a stud. I'm telling you, dude, in a couple years, he's going to be a stud.
Yeah, I feel really good. Jaylen Hunt looks just amazing. Even from the first game he had against the Ravens.
He does.
What he does on the perimeter. I mean, he's 6'3", 6'4", 252. I mean, he's man.
I like this kid a lot, dude.
Yeah.
And watching that game the other day, to me, he was popping. When I rewatched the game, he's 58's popping. I'm like, I can't help but watch him. 125. Thank you so much for super chat. He goes, Foles threw some interceptions in 2014. Would have been undefeated had Cooper caught the ball in the end zone versus the Niners. Oh, and yeah, you're right. And had Huff not fumbled against the Cards. Yeah,
I forgot about that.
You're absolutely right about that. That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, there's so many games. It's hard to remember, every single thing. Try David Super Chat goes, Daniel Jones is what did you think about Daniel Jones?
Yeah, he didn't look good. He really $40 million. Damn, you kept that man instead of Saquon. I don't get it.
Yeah. Dre Diesel, thank you for Super Chat. He goes, Patrick Johnson makes the 53. Nolan Smith practice squad.
Oh,
I'll tell you what, Patrick Johnson, when given the chance to play, has looked good.
Mm-hmm.
He's looked good.
Yeah.
I mean, what are your thoughts, man? I mean, I don't think you think he's going to be higher on the depth chart of Nolan Smith, do you?
No, I don't think so. I think Patrick Johnson can make plays. I think he generates pressure. I think when he gets after it, he's definitely disruptive. He's made a few. Even the preseason game had the strip sack that pretty much the strip sack at the end of the first game against the Ravens and kicked the ball and to win the game. And he's always productive. He's been in the system for a while, so he's good.
And Dre Diesel, thank you for that super chat. I think he makes. I think he very well can make this team. I do. I liked what I've seen from him. Charles, I love the hair. Philly, what's your thought on Jayden Daniel? I like him. I actually think he's going to be good. I think Washington's got themselves a good quarterback, and I think in a few years, I don't know how long it'll take him to start winning a lot of games, but I like the kid. Do you have any thoughts on him? I actually like him. Let's see.
All right.
Joe, you okay?
Headset. Yeah, my headset wasn't. My headset disconnected for a second.
We always beat them. Yeah, I don't know who they're talking about, who we always beat, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. Nolan Smith just basically a blitzer, Sharon says.
That doesn't get there.
Oh man, you're not making me feel good about Nolan Smith.
I just don't. I like, dude. All I'm saying is this. I think they should line him up a little wider. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying like I feel like his toolbox is just not efficient enough. It's just that's why this offseason he was working on more technique. He was working on technique this offseason. So I want to believe, I hope, I feel better about Nakobe Dean. I mean, I feel way better about him than I do than Nolan Smith right now.
Josh Sweat had a big day today. He had what would have been 3 sacks. So hopefully he bounces back. I think that's very important that he bounces back this year. I mean, we don't talk enough about it, but I mean, here's a guy that 2 years ago had double-digit sacks. Really, like Reddick, just completely disappeared. The reports about Reddick, not even caring about anything but getting the quarterback. That was the same case for Josh Sweat. They said the same thing. I think he needs to bounce back. If you could get, let's say, 10 plus sacks from Carter, 10 plus sacks from Josh Sweat, I think you'll probably be okay. I think we'll probably be okay.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully Brandon Graham could at least get some pressures this year and at least be disruptive this year on his last year. So,
right. Let's see. Yeah, well, that's the problem. He wasn't
Fred Johnson. There wasn't.
Yeah, Daniel Son. Good recollection. Because you're right. Yeah, he went up against Fred Johnson. He didn't go up against Lane. So, that could be an issue. But, I mean, I hope Josh Sweat emerges. The only because I said before practice, I was like, hopefully Josh Sweat does something. And then, of course, he did. But I was like, the only thing we've heard about Josh Sweat all training camp is that he changed his number.
Yeah, I don't know. We haven't heard much on him. I don't know,
Yeah. Bad dog is a mad dog. Cause he knows the Giants always stink. They give us Saquon Barkley. They trade Odell Beckham. They got Daniel Jones. What's up, bad dog?
So bad dog.
God, I hate the Eagles, but these two guys are all right. Another year of Daniel Jones. Pray for me, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, but hang in there. When we go out and have our big drinking moment, first beer's on me, man. First beer's on me. It's good to see Bad Dog.
Yeah, definitely.
Good to see you, man. Would you sign Yannick? I would consider it. I would definitely consider it.
Yeah, still out there.
I mean, we'll see. I don't think the Eagles are going to sit pat and just do their 53-man roster. I do expect things to happen. Hey, Joey, did you take me to Pound Town? Never texted back. Joey's not texting people back. Pizzle needs your love, Philly. It's going to be rough. What I want to know is how long before Pizzle and Mark Holmes start going at it again. Like when they go at it, like it's like violent, and then they don't say nothing for a while, and then all of a sudden it's like they collide. I think you're going to have two angry people this year. I will say this, man. I like Neighbors. That kid's good. He's going to be a good wide receiver. They got themselves a player there. There's no question. I think the production loss from losing both Cox and Reddick will be hard to replace. Huff is one guy making up for two. Not fair to Huff, I think. Making up for two, like I don't think he's making up for 2. He's making up for Reddick, but not Cox. I mean, Cox production makes up. You have Jalen Carter and Jordan David. They've got to make up for that production, along with Williams, right? And then you have Ojomo, who I really like. But I mean, the Reddick thing is the one scratcher. I'm just, I just don't. I still don't. I mean, I understand why they did it. He was going to hold out. I get it, but man, you don't trade a guy with 10.
We haven't. Yeah, well, that's what we were going to get into. We were going to deal with a holdout regardless. So rip the Band-Aid off quick and just get it done. When's the last time the Eagles really dealt with a holdout like type player? Like when was the last time we? I don't even know. Did Fletch hold out when he got that big $100 million contract a long time ago? Did he hold out? I don't know.
I don't remember the last holdout we've had. It has, it's been
a while.
Usually even, I mean, we don't even go by like June, all our draft picks are always signed. So, but clearly, I mean, it seems like Howie knew the holdout was coming and he got rid of Hassan Reddick. He didn't want to deal with it. The question is, why would the Jets, knowing that you have to give this guy a contract extension, why would they just be like, nah, we'll trade for him anyways? Just seems ridiculous. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree.
So who knows? Dre Diesel, man, thank you for Super Chat. Goes, after watching Hard Knocks, I feel bad for Giant fans. That front office is a joke, man. I hope Howie never lets Hard Knocks in our building. I would love to see an off season with the Eagles. Like, that would be fantastic. To me, more than the training camp. I would love to see that Howie do that. But yeah, it was embarrassing. It was.
Yeah.
4133 David Super Chat goes, bold prediction. Mark and Pizzle will become friends this year. Their sorry teams will tie and they will bond talking smack on their own team. All right, well, we will see. We will possibly see. Bad Dog says Mark Holmes just made 17th video today. Oh my God. It's 17 videos. It's like 20 videos a day. And every video leads back to one thing. It's not Dak Prescott's fault. It's not Dak Prescott's fault. That's it. That's what he does. He could be talking about food, barbecue, this, that, and it comes back to it's not Dak Prescott's fault. The guy's losing his mind. Howie was definitely smart avoiding the holdout and potential headache. He was.
Yeah,
I agree. The question is, does he have enough to make up for the loss of production that you're going to lose? That's the whole.
Maybe
question.
Not game to game. Maybe not game. Maybe more game to game than month to month. I would probably say because Reddick was more of a streaky guy that wouldn't.
Yeah, Reddick's a streaky
consistent
guy. Yeah,
Reddick
is a streaky guy, but he's a great closer though. Like you're up 4 points in the fourth quarter, he'll close it out for you.
It's true.
I don't know. We'll see. Nolan Smith, Bryce Huff, yeah, they've got talent, but we just gotta see. We gotta see what's gonna happen. I feel like the amount of blitzing that Fangio's doing, because when he came in, it wasn't like he was a big blitz guy. He would do it, but I wonder if that's because he's worried about the production that he's going to get from them. That's the only thing I wonder,
Yeah, I agree.
So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. But we're an hour and 17 minutes in. We got 800 people in the chat. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you haven't hit the like, make sure you subscribe. Click the link description. Go so up. My man Joey Shakes. Joel Rodriguez says, who's better, Huff or Sweat? You have to say Sweat is a better player right now. He's been more consistent.
That's the question too, bro. Like I remember what was it last year where Sweat said, I remember there was like a press conference. He said, man, I hate being in coverage, or he said something about he hated doing it. Like, right. I don't know if I've even heard of our beat writers say how bad Josh Sweat is in coverage this year. Really, there's been no news on Sweat this whole offseason program.
Well, the only thing is they said that him and Reddick were only worried about sacks at the end of last year. Then they also said that he changed his number to 19. That was it. Other than that, nothing. Bad Dog Sports says, you two guys, And Chris and I need to collab the week of our first game.
Oh,
Oh
hell
yeah,
yeah.
definitely, dude. We'll
Let's do it.
definitely do that. That should be a lot of fun. It's amazing that we're actually playing the Giants like in October. Usually we don't
20th,
see
I
the
think?
Giants till like December. Then we play them like twice in 3
The
weeks.
last game. Yeah. Usually.
You know, yeah, it's going to be interesting, man. I think we'll get. I think at least one of those guys will emerge, Huff or Smith. I don't know which one, but I think one of those guys will get us double-digit sacks. That's what I'll say. But we'll see. You know, you think Brandon Graham? Do you think he's still capable of giving you 8-9 sacks this year?
I don't know. This year, I'm not sure about that. I would feel like he's going to be more disruptive and get pressures, and other guys will make what plays off of that. But you know, I think he can get 8. I think get maybe 5 to 8. I don't know if it's going to be too much. I really hope so, because even after remember after the Achilles injury he had, we didn't think he was, guys at an old age coming off of injuries like that, they normally don't have, a good year, just in general. And he had a fantastic year. So you never know. It could be, hopefully his last year, he can have the best year for himself and his statistics. And I'm hoping that's the case, but we'll see.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. Joe says Milton Williams is going to benefit the most from this. I think he's going to have a big year.
Yeah, he is.
I really like, but see, he's set up for this big giant year and then big contract on another team somewhere. And he's going to get starting. He's going to be able to go start somewhere. That's what I expect from him. But I like him. And listen, you can use him like, when they run at 3-4, they can use him at defensive end. So, he's going to be out there. The key to this defense is still that interior. It's all about the interior of that line. Carter and Davis gotta be what we drafted them to be.
It really starts with them two. It really starts with those two.
I think so. If those guys are good, I think everything will work its way in. I really feel better about the linebacking situation. I like the young guys we got in the secondary. I think that they'll be fine. If we could get that edge rusher position squared away, we'll be fine. We'll be fine.
Agreed.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess if there's anything else, man, that we're missing or we haven't talked about.
Yeah, make sure you guys check out the new redemption line of me and Philly 500, the Philly Shakedown podcast merch. I'm going to send Philly a video since, it's taking a while. I'll send you a video.
Get in line.
We're busy, so I get it. We're all busy. I get it. But definitely check out the website. Link is in the description for a whole bunch of, I think like 5-6 pieces of merch are out. We're going to have some new stuff coming out at the end of August. So I need to see what's going on with that. And, be good.
Yeah, I agree. I apparently missed this super chat. Sorry about that, Nicholas. But Nicholas, thank you for super chat. Appreciate it. Says Howie will make a big time trade up in the draft for a top 5 edge rusher in the future draft. Solidify young all pro line 13-4 Hurts MVP defense too young. I like it. I think edge rusher is definitely going to be one of the big priorities next year, and tight end too. I think those two.
It's good. It's going to have to be. I mean, from what's leaving, I mean, like Graham's going to be gone, Sweat's going to be gone. If Nolan Smith doesn't produce this year, are you done? Like, are you pretty much just what
I need to see from Nolan Smith is a jump up. So let's say, he goes from 1 sack and barely playing to, let's say, he gets way more snaps and let's say he gets you 6-7 sacks. I feel like that would be an acceptable jump, in year 2. And then year 3, then he's got to really show us something. I think, he's only going into his second year. Sometimes we get so impatient with these guys. We just got to let them develop and give them a little bit of time.
Yeah.
And hopefully that's going to pay off with Nakobe Dean. We're going to find out.
I hope so.
Yeah. But thank you guys so much for joining me. We appreciate it. If you haven't hit the like, subscribe, click the link in the description. Go sub up Joey Shakes. I will be back real early in the morning, 10 a.m., 7 my time, and we will be streaming Eagles practice. And yeah, with that, I think we're pretty much done. Anything else you want to say, man?
No, that's it. I mean, we have a few more practices. We have, obviously preseason this week, and we'll see who's dressed, who's not dressed. So it'll kind of show us, like, who's going to be starting and, what the idea is looking like going into, obviously, the couple weeks we'll have left after this week until the season starts. And then that's really it. So then it comes down to cuts. And then
right. Exactly. So thank you guys so much for joining us. We're out of here. Thank you for all super chats, all the chats and everything you guys have done. We appreciate the support. And in honor of Mark Holmes' 19th video of the day, let's have a meltdown take us out. Peace.
Come on.
Oh, shit! Dad! No!
It's over! It's over! This game is over! Cut it off! It's over!
Fuck.
Congratulations, Green Bay! Congratulations, Green Bay! Congratulations, Green Bay!
I said run the ball.
Congratulations, Green Bay! Dak Prescott, you need to be fired today! That was on you, Dak! That was on you, Dak! That was on you, Dak!
I said run the ball.
That was on Dak Prescott!
Trying to
defend the CeeDee Lamb! Trying to defend the CeeDee Lamb! You tried to defend the CeeDee Lamb! You got to give it to CeeDee Lamb! God! It's over! It's over, Dak! Put Trey Lance in the game. Trey Lance can't do worse than you.
I'm an idiot because I buy into this shit. Because here's the thing. I am a grown-ass man. And I talk the talk. It is killing me.
I feel it coming. I feel like it's going to take Jerry Jones taking it. Cut it off. It's over.